Back on TYT Sports, back continuing with the NBA previews for the 2016-2017 season. I forgot how many days are left to go. I know it's somewhere around 2 weeks. I know that NBA's tip-off Instagram said for the 17-day one that was the amount of wins the Knicks had last season. Wrong. Fail. So rude. But we're about to talk about that team itself, the New York Knicks. We're also going to talk about two other meccas of basketball, the Los Angeles Lakers, and yes, believe it or not, if you've read into any of Bill Simmons' writing, the Philadelphia 76ers. Put some respect on Dr. J's name. Philadelphia is one hell of a place for basketball. They have a great fan base. Put some respect on AI's name. Put some respect on Andre Iguodala's name. That's even the most recent. Don't forget, before he was an NBA Finals MVP, he was leading the charge for the 2012 76ers. Andre Snellings, I have my own doctor with me right now, and that is Dr. Andre Snellings. So, Mr. Snellings, there are three teams that are in. They're somewhere along the rebuilding process. The Knicks bought their way into hopefully making the playoffs this year by signing Brandon Jennings, Derrick Rose, Courtney Lee. And the Lakers and the 76ers are up there too, because I'm actually going to start with the Lakers to make the comment section believe that they think that I hate the Knicks because I don't talk about them enough. But the Lakers themselves, I was watching, and I say I'm starting with the Lakers because I watched their preseason game on Tuesday against the Blazers. Here's my biggest takeaway with the Lakers. Luke Walton in place. They were running an offense. I was pretty blown away at the one-year change.
Shocking.
Because, the execution was there. The finishing was as bad as me at the rim. It was bad. But that's stuff that will iron itself out. The important part in play there was there was weak side movement, which I saw almost none of last year on the Lakers offense. And they were back in transition. D'Angelo Russell, maturity issues aside, seems to be making some very nice passes. He looked very good in Vegas because he was a man amongst boys when you put the sophomores alongside the rookies. Brandon Ingram, struggling from three, but that might fix itself throughout the year. I want to start with the Lakers because they seem to be the most enticing. The Sixers are probably going to be bad again this year. The Knicks and the Lakers possibly could be good-ish?
No. Yeah. See, my feeling is that, honestly, all three of these teams are going to be bad this year.
No.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Knicks and all that, yeah, but bad in the sense of they're not winning a title.
Oh, no,
and they're not going to be on the street to winning a title. And so with that being the case, then, and this is, I guess, something that Philadelphia's fallen into over the last several years. So there's questions if this is the way to build a team, but not going to be good. It's almost better to stink until you get your talent in place.
Yeah.
And so when I look at these three teams, and you started with the Lakers, and in some ways they are the most enticing of the three. But when I look at these three teams with the Knicks, I like Porzingis a lot. I mean, obviously he averaged more points at age 19 than Jordan, so he's got to be a superstar. but I mean, even beyond that, I feel like he's a piece that can be there when they're really good again. But I look at the rest of the team, I don't see anybody else that's going to be there when the Knicks return to the promised land.
Yeah,
I don't think Melo will be. I don't think Rose will be. That they built the rest of the team outside of Porzingis like they were trying to win this year, and they're not going to do it. So I think the Knicks are probably at the back of this particular list. The Lakers, as you pointed out, they do have the promising young coach, and they've got two young players to build around in Russell and Ingram. And then, you have kind of the secondary young guys like Randall and Clarkson that maybe there's something too. But if they hit on Russell, if he is able to turn into a superstar, and or the same is true with Ingram, then I could see in a few years them being a really intriguing team out west. Philly, I think, has the best or the highest quantity of young talent. When you look at Embiid and Simmons and I guess Okafor, Noel, and Saric, you've got five potential blue chip, really young guys. The problem is they're all 6'10" and over. So, that's not normally a problem in basketball, though. It's normally great to have big guys, but they're going to have to turn some of them into at least one mega impact perimeter player. Maybe Simmons can help with that if they kind of make him a point guard in the Greek Freak kind of mold, but they need a perimeter scorer before you can really say they look intriguing. But I think they have the most pieces And if they can not mess it up, they, to me, should have the shortest path to be able to get back into contention.
Yeah, so that was, I mean, that's pretty much the gist of this clip to actually put it into even more context is which team is on the quickest path to becoming good again, which team will return to glory. It's very hard to win a title in the NBA nowadays unless you build correctly and then lure the right free agent, which you've seen happen with the Warriors, or if you just go find the next LeBron James and you'll be fine for like 15 years. It's a lot hard. It's a very hard thing to do, especially because we're staring down the barrel of another Warriors versus Cleveland Cavaliers championship again, finals again. That's what we're most likely looking at. But in terms of those back-end teams, I agree with you 100% on the Lakers and the Sixers. Actually, I agree with you 100% on the Knicks too, because I keep making the joke, and I see this as a joke though, if they aren't healthy, if Lee, Jennings, and Rose get injured, which, given their history, is likely, we're left once again with what? Porzingis and Melo. It's what we had last year. So, and I don't think they get off to the hot start as they did last year. What I do hope that is in place for the Knicks is I'm putting a lot of faith into Jeff Hornacek. I'm putting a lot of faith into the fact that Phil Jackson is saying that he's been mostly hands-off on the coaching, because I think it's past his time to be hands-on with the coaching unless he wants to be a full-time coach. I don't like this idea of him being half and half. So the signings might be enough, and my hope is to get us into the playoffs. And then my other secondary hope is that we find a way to trade for some draft picks. If it doesn't work out with Rose, don't sign him. Like, things like that have to fall into place. Mm-hmm. I think the Lakers are on the top of that list, though, believe it or not. I'm going to switch up the Sixers and the Lakers, at least on mine, just because I think it all falls on Luke Walton, to be honest. I think if this system works, if he can bring enough of what Steve Kerr was working with the Warriors and the execution, which it seems like, I know it's just preseason, don't overreact to preseason ever. The execution seems to have improved and the finishing improves, and D'Angelo Russell is that top-tier point guard and becomes that guy. And let's not sell two other guys in the Lakers short. Jordan Clarkson, a very competent backcourt member, and actually is probably the best guard on that team right now, and maybe D'Angelo Russell later in the season. And Luol Deng is a veteran presence. That's what they seemed like they signed him for. Luol Deng is far removed from giving Bulls quality all-star almost level seasons, but is a high IQ player.
Yeah, definitely. And he's a really good defensive player, especially for a small forward. Like, you don't normally see the type of plus-minus impact on the defensive end from a small forward that we saw from Luol Deng, at least when he was in Chicago. And so with a young team, those are two things I think that are vital. There are, leadership and defense, like learning how to play defense. And so Deng can help get the young guys on the team further up the learning curve quicker.
Yeah, I agree with you there too. All right, so I got to throw to the comment section, my favorite section in the world. Make sure you guys comment on who you think has got the quickest path to glory out of these three meccas of basketball. Which is between the Sixers, the Lakers, and the Knicks. Yes, don't forget about the Sixers, man. I'm going to say it again. Put some respect on Dr. J's name. That man was so damn important to the history of basketball. I was never even alive for it. However, when you watch those tapes and you read about what he did and all that flash that run alongside, and then you watch Kevin Durant, and you have to say to yourself, I've seen that before, because how Kevin Durant finishes at the rim, very much like how Dr. J finished. And it's pretty.
Well, okay, wait a minute. Hold on. But Dr. J was my first favorite player, and I love Kevin Durant. But, I mean, Dr. J would finish with his armpit at the rim.
I'm saying
Kevin
the
Durant,
length. Those layups.
He's
There's
better pure
nobody else
scorer,
in the NBA.
but he's knocking it down from distance. I don't think I've ever seen anybody finish at the rim like Jay.
Well, okay, that's true. But my point being is, like, when you watch him get to when he does any kind of up and under with like a reverse layup, the only person it reminds me of is Dr. J, because his arms are so long that from like his head will be on one side of like the backboard and his arm will be finishing underneath the hoop on the other side.
Right. Yeah, I give you that.
All right. That's all I want. Dr. J, man. I got Dr. J, I got Dr. Snellings. I got too many doctors, none of which are going to help me with my health. All right. Comment below. Like, favorite, subscribe. Follow Andre at Professor DRZ on the Twitter, hoopslab.rotowire.com. for a lot of very interesting, very in-depth basketball analysis. Seriously, go check it out. Could you like the website? Just share the website. Just tell your friends. You're in a bar
You
discussion.
can sign up for the website.
Sign up for the website.
If you sign up for it, then every time I write an article, you get an email. And by the way, did you just say on the Twitter? Did you just age 50 years? What just happened?
I said on the tweeter. On the tweeter. Andre, you didn't know I was 67? Come on.
I did not. You look good for your age.
I was born, but I must have just forgotten those Dr. J years at my 60-year-old age. Like, favorite, subscribe to the video and the channel. We'll see you next time.